What is up, people, and welcome to the #1 channel in East and Central Africa that brings you great and epic motorcycle content that many have come to love. Now do consider giving this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now we all want all those big boy fancy bikes, and if you're like me, owning a 1200 GS is actually a dream come true. Now some of you might want to own that Ducati Monster or even that KTM 1290 Super Duke, but really, is it only just a matter of just buying and riding? Now today we'll be covering what it takes to actually own and maintain a big boy bike. Now this will actually cut across multiple classes of bikes, but I will start with the most common and the most preferred bikes of all. Sport bikes. These will be ranging from 600s all the way to liter bikes. Now in this chapter we are going to be considering the BMW S1000RR. Now straight from the factory we are told that by the manual to service it every 10,000 kilometers. Now which seems a lot, especially for a sport bike. Now granted, most sport bike owners only use them as weekend toys, so it hardly seems like a bad thing, am I right? But when you do get around for the service, here's what you actually needed to do. Please note that prices may vary. This is just a rough estimate. And for this, we'll be considering taking it to the dealership for servicing. Well, in this case, Inkchi. Now, the first thing that you're required by the manual to do is to take the bike to the BMW Motorrad for diagnostics. Hapo, probably you'll have dropped like anything from around 5,000 to 10,000 Kenya shillings. I do presume, I'm not sure what the diagnostics price is. After that, they are going to do an oil change. So the BMW S1000 takes about 4.5 liters of oil. Let's say you're using the Motul brand, which costs about 7,000 for a 5 liter, and let's say you are using a K&N oil filter. Let's say that's about 3,000 bob ish. If I do the calculation, that's like about 15,000 to 20,000 already. When we replace the air filter, which actually costs about 6,000 Kenya shillings as well. Now spark plugs, the recommended ones are NGK, which cost about 1,600, so that multiply that by 4, that's about 6,400 Kenya shillings. Now we've already passed the 30,000 Kenya shillings mark, and mind you, that's just for the service alone. I won't dare even go beyond what other things that the dealership have to check in order to charge you, or rather in order to make your bike fully serviced. You might take it to your local trusted mechanic, which by the way will be a lot cheaper by far. But then again, you might have instances whereby your local mechanic doesn't have that part, and you really need to have that part, and you can't wait actually 2 weeks for shipping. So eventually you'll have to go to the dealership and buy the part. For example, like the air filter you just have to buy it at 6,000 Kenya shillings. Anyway, we haven't even talked about fueling the bike. And for your information, there's a major service at 30,000 kilometers for the BMW S1000R, which will cost you about 58,000 Kenya shillings. I think I'll just leave it that for now. Anyway, the next chapter we'll be talking about is adventure bikes, and in this case I will use my recent experience when I took my bike out for service at Inkchi. Mind you, my bike is a 1998 BMW Funduro carbureted thumper. Let me repeat that. My bike is a 1998 Funduro, which is a single cylinder thumper. The only electronic things are of course the obvious, the bulbs and stuff, and plus also the regulator, and I don't know, there's no computer on that bike whatsoever. This was a free service, by the way. If it wasn't a free service, I would have paid 35,000 Kenya shillings, 664 before VAT. And this is inclusive of the service, the oil change, the service of the bike, and also plus labor. Manzemi ni mkulima mdogo, lakini we? Imagine the cost of a more modern bike like the R1200 GS. Please note that these are instances when you actually take the bike to the dealership for servicing. Now I do have a friend who used to spend about 30,000 Kenya shillings on, get this, a 150cc Gixxer on servicing at the dealership. Nyewe wa Kenya mko na pesa. Anyway, this video isn't meant to discourage you in any way. Sure, there are many ways that you can actually cut costs. Like for example, you can learn how to service your own bike like the way I do. In order to get to that stage, you need to have some bit of training, maybe from your local mechanic, or if you are like me, just like watch and learn and then go and do it, knowing very well, by the way, I do not recommend this, and I'm not responsible for anyone who does their own servicing and messes up their own bike. You really have to have some prior knowledge before attempting such a feat. Like I said, this video isn't actually meant to discourage you. It is meant to give you an insight on what you will need to do in order to prepare yourself financially, mostly, and mentally. Like for example, I do have a separate account whereby I have money set up for emergencies purposes. For that money is meant for the bike only. That's why you see like big boys treat their bikes kama mayai, because they really know how much it would cost to get a replacement part. Mostly if it's a naked bike and doesn't have any protection on it, which most of these sport bike guys actually do not have any protection on their bikes, which is quite a risk in my opinion. Anyway, yeah, so now you know what it takes to actually own, or rather you have a glimpse of what it actually means to own a big boy bike. Leave alone what you see the fancy guys, and fuel is actually a small part of what is actually required, because if you get yourself in any tricky situation in an accident, God forbid, you will have a ton of stress. That is if you have not prepared yourself financially and even mentally. And it really takes more than skill to actually own a big boy bike. So that's it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching till this far. I do hope you've enjoyed this very short video so much that you would consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts and critics. If you do own a big boy bike, what are some of the shortcuts that you take in order to cut some costs? Let me know in the comment section below. I do love reading and replying to all your comments. Anyway, stay safe, ride safe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.